This is where they are building the largest nuclear fusion reactor in the world.
Time to fire up Germany's revolutionary fusion machine. It's a tense moment.
Prepare yourself. Just minutes ago, Germany's new nuclear fusion reactor shook the entire industry. One country's push for new technology is leaving even the most advanced projects in the dust. Germany has done just that with its new fusion reactor ITER, a groundbreaking project that could change the global energy game forever. But what makes this German reactor so special? Is this the breakthrough that could give us endless, clean energy? Or is it all too good to be true? Before we dive into the details, there's a challenge lurking in the shadows that could undo everything, and you won't believe what it is. Germany's new fusion reactor. Nuclear fusion is the same process that makes the sun and stars shine. It works by joining smaller atomic particles to create a bigger one, releasing a huge amount of energy. Einstein's famous equation, E=mc2, explains this idea, showing that even a small amount of mass can turn into a lot of energy. For example, when two types of hydrogen, deuterium and tritium fuse together, about 0.7% of their mass turns into energy. But making fusion happen on Earth is really hard. Scientists need to heat hydrogen atoms to around 100 million degrees Celsius, hotter than the core of the sun. Then, they have to keep these super hot atoms together using very strong magnetic fields. This process also has to meet something called the Lawson criterion, which is a set of conditions needed to keep the fusion reaction going. But what if I told you that this amazing project might be on the brink of failure? The very challenges designed to contain this incredible power could end up destroying the whole project. And there's one problem in particular that no one expected. The path of nuclear fusion research is a mix of both progress and setbacks, shaped by global collaboration and competition. The first fusion experiment started in the 1930s, when scientists began firing accelerated particles at light elements, creating new isotopes and neutrons. By the 1940s, fusion research took a darker turn, leading to the development of thermonuclear weapons, which unleashed tremendous destructive power. After World War II, the focus shifted as the knowledge about hydrogen bombs became public, opening up the possibility of using fusion energy for peaceful purposes. Researchers developed different methods to contain and heat plasma, including devices like the pinch, the mirror, the Stellarator, and the tokamak. Among these methods, the tokamak, a donut-shaped magnetic system developed in the Soviet Union, emerged as the most promising. Over the years, countries like the United States, the United Kingdom, France, Japan, and China worked to improve the tokamak design, gradually getting closer to making fusion energy a reality, where the energy produced by fusion matches or exceeds the energy put in. In the 1980s, larger and more powerful tokamaks were built, such as the Joint European Torus, JET, in the UK, and the Tokamak Fusion Test Reactor, TFTR, in the US. These projects achieved record levels of fusion energy and plasma performance, but they also faced many technical, financial, and political challenges. At the heart of the ITER project is the tokamak concept, improved with new design elements. The tokamak, with a major radius of 6.2 meters and a plasma volume of 840 cubic meters, is the largest and most complex fusion device ever built. It uses superconducting magnets to create a powerful magnetic field, which is essential for containing and shaping the plasma. The tokamak uses several heating methods, including neutral beam injection, radio frequency waves, and electron cyclotron waves, to keep the plasma at the right temperature and under control. The fusion fuel is a mix of deuterium and tritium, two forms of hydrogen. Deuterium is abundant in nature, while tritium is produced inside the reactor using lithium blankets that absorb the neutrons from the fusion reactions. The ITER project is set to reach a major milestone by 2025, when it will generate its first plasma. This $22 billion international effort shows how countries can work together toward a common goal. Once the first plasma is created, the project will begin a 20-year period of operations. During this time, a series of detailed experiments and tests will be conducted to improve the plasma's performance and fully demonstrate the capabilities of the fusion reactor. This endeavor is also expected to open the door to future advancements in fusion energy, particularly the transition to a new reactor designed to produce electricity on a commercial scale. However, it faces stiff competition from a German fusion reactor that has recently made significant progress. One of the most effective ways to achieve the Lawson criterion is through magnetic confinement. This method uses strong magnets to create a donut-shaped magnetic field that traps and shapes plasma, a hot, charged state of matter where atoms are broken into electrons and nuclei. The plasma is heated through various methods, like particle beams, microwaves, or electric currents. The magnetic field also keeps the plasma from touching the reactor walls, which would cool it down and stop the fusion process. Around the world, experimental reactors like JET in the UK, TFTR in the US, and K-STAR in South Korea have shown that magnetic confinement works. These reactors have reached temperatures and densities close to what's needed for the Lawson criterion and have produced significant amounts of fusion energy. For example, JET has generated up to 16 megawatts of energy. Moving forward, we will examine the collaborative efforts necessary to harness this technology on a worldwide scale. Advances in fusion reactor technology. Fusion reactors work by creating and maintaining the extreme conditions needed for fusion reactions. They use magnetic confinement to control the plasma, which is then heated to high temperatures and densities to start the fusion process. Lithium blankets are used to absorb the fusion neutrons and produce more tritium fuel. Even though there are many challenges, nuclear fusion reactors hold great promise for providing clean, abundant, and safe energy for the future. If successful, they could completely change the global energy landscape, offering a sustainable alternative to traditional power sources. But the road to practical fusion on Earth is full of challenges, and even the most advanced reactors are still being developed and tested. Scientists recently made a major discovery called quasi-symmetry. This breakthrough helps to reduce energy losses and improves the way plasma is contained, which is crucial for advancing fusion energy. By keeping the magnetic field strength steady along certain lines, this principle ensures that plasma remains stable and behaves predictably. This achievement wasn't easy. It took advanced algorithms and some of the most powerful supercomputers to make it happen. To explore this new concept, scientists have built or are building several new devices called Stellarators. One of the most impressive of these is the Wendelstein 7X, which is the largest and most complex stellarator ever created. It uses 50 specially designed magnetic coils to create a magnetic field that keeps the plasma in check. The goal of Wendelstein 7X is to prove that stellarators can be reliable fusion reactors by maintaining high plasma densities, temperatures, and confinement times. The machine has already set world records, including achieving the highest fusion triple product for a stellarator and the longest plasma discharge duration. Another significant machine is the helically symmetric experiment, HSX. This device was the first to achieve continuous helical symmetry, which helps to reduce energy losses and gives scientists better control over the magnetic fields. In Japan, the Large Helical Device, LHD, is the world's largest stellarator and uses a special configuration that supports high plasma performance and extended operation times. It focuses on studying plasma physics that is important for future fusion reactors. Stellarators are a sophisticated approach to the challenge of controlling fusion plasma. They have some advantages over another type of device called tokamaks, such as being able to run continuously and having adjustable magnetic fields. But they also come with challenges, like the complex design of their coils and the need to better understand how plasma behaves. Yet another innovative method is the Z-pinch technique. This approach uses a strong electric current to generate a magnetic field that compresses a column of plasma. It's a key method used in the Z-machine project in the United States, which has managed to achieve high temperatures and densities making it a valuable tool for producing X-rays, neutrons, or ions. But even with all these advancements, the race for practical fusion energy is far from over. In Germany, a groundbreaking project known as Gaus Fusion is making strides towards building the world's first commercial nuclear fusion reactor. Launched by a group of European companies in 2022 and reaching a major funding goal in 2023, Gaus Fusion aims to lead the way in developing magnetic confinement fusion technology. Their strategy focuses on high-field magnetic confinement, which is known for producing energy efficiently and quickly. By working closely with top researchers at the Max Planck Institute for Plasma Physics, Gaus Fusion is developing a compact, cost-effective tokamak design, pushing the boundaries of sustainable energy solutions. The Institute for Plasma Physics is a major center for fusion research, recognized both in Europe and globally. It operates two important fusion facilities, the AEX Upgrade Tokamak in Garching and the Wendelstein 7X Stellarator in Greifswald. For many years, it has led the way in innovative research in plasma physics, focusing on areas like magnetic confinement, plasma heating, and control systems. A key part of IPP's work involves running the Program Management Unit of Eurofusion, a European group dedicated to developing fusion energy. This group brings together 30 fusion centers from 25 European Union countries, as well as Switzerland, Ukraine, and the United Kingdom, to strengthen fusion research across Europe. IPP also works closely with global partners in fusion research, which helps expand its scientific and technological abilities. This collaboration includes working with Gaus Fusion, which benefits from IPP's wide network and advanced facilities. Gaus Fusion, in particular, plans to use the AEX Upgrade Tokamak for its Gigacraft project, showing how fusion technology can be put to practical use. One of the major challenges in fusion research, especially for projects like ITER, is ensuring a steady supply of tritium, a rare and radioactive type of hydrogen crucial for fusion reactors. While ITER relies on external sources for tritium, Gaus Fusion aims to be self-sufficient by using advanced tritium breeding modules. These modules capture neutrons from fusion reactions to produce more tritium from lithium, securing a sustainable fuel supply for future fusion power plants. Unlike ITER, which is focused on experimentation, Gaus Fusion is working towards developing commercial fusion reactors that can generate electricity and make money. These reactors are designed to fit seamlessly into the existing power grid, providing a continuous and reliable energy source to meet global demands. Gaus Fusion places a strong emphasis on efficiency and sustainability, using high-field magnetic confinement, fusion, and optimized plasma settings to boost power output and operational efficiency. Their strategy also includes making the most of existing tokamak designs and infrastructure. But more importantly, they are building a team of top-tier talent and leaders from various fields to ensure a strong foundation for success. Gaus Fusion's project has received a lot of support from the scientific community, bringing together top leaders and innovators from various fields like physics, engineering, business, and finance. The supervisory board is made up of influential people, such as Frank Lahn, the president and CEO of Bruker Corporation, a leading company in scientific instruments and superconducting magnets; Stefano Buono, the founder and former CEO of Advanced Accelerator Applications, a major radiopharmaceutical company; and Siegfried Russwurm, the former chief technology officer of Siemens, a global industrial leader. In addition to these leaders, the company has a scientific advisory board with highly respected experts, including Sibylle Günther, the scientific director of IPP, Tony Donnet, the program manager of Eurofusion, and Stephen Cowley, the director of the Princeton Plasma Physics Laboratory. This ensures that Gaus Fusion remains a leader in fusion research. As we continue to break new ground in fusion technology, the next chapter will delve into how these innovations could reshape global energy policies. Gaus Fusion's strategy to realize nuclear fusion. But the challenges don't stop there. Gaus Fusion's approach is seen as a promising path to achieving commercial nuclear fusion within the next decade or two. Gaus Fusion is quickly advancing fusion technology by adopting best practices from different industries and forming public-private partnerships with national and European institutions. The company is taking advantage of rapid innovations in areas like superconducting magnets, plasma heating, and control systems, as well as artificial intelligence and machine learning. Furthermore, Gaus Fusion is benefiting from a positive political and social environment for fusion energy, driven by the growing demand for clean and sustainable energy sources, increased awareness of the climate crisis, and a strong commitment to achieving net zero emission targets. This venture represents a bold and exciting leap forward in the fusion energy field, challenging traditional energy models and leading the way towards a sustainable energy future. Working closely with the Max Planck Institute for Plasma Physics, a team is preparing to start building the first commercial nuclear fusion reactor within the next year or two. This moment is a major step toward achieving endless, clean energy. Reaching this milestone in clean energy marks the start of a new chapter, where a much-improved device is almost ready to become a reality. At the IPP branch in Garching near Munich, an early attempt to enhance Stellaраtor technology led to the creation of the Wendelstein 7S, an initial prototype. This reactor operated from 1988 to 2002, and by 1993 it had set new records for reactors of its size, breaking all previous performance standards. Inspired by the success of Wendelstein 7S, researchers at UW-Madison began developing the first fully optimized device. This effort led to the creation of the helically symmetric experiment, HSX, in 1999, a smaller machine. David Gates, a top physicist in Stellaраtor technology at PPPL, recognized the groundbreaking results of both Wendelstein 7S and HSX, confirming the potential of this optimized approach. Buoyed by their earlier successes, American researchers were eager to tackle even more ambitious projects. In 2004, they started work on the National Compact Stellarator experiment at the Princeton Plasma Physics Laboratory, PPPL. Though they chose a different approach from their German counterparts at IPP, assembling the intricate components of NCSX turned out to be much more challenging than expected. This led to rising costs and delays. Eventually, in 2008, the Department of Energy decided to halt the project, even though it had made considerable progress. George Hutch Nielsen, who was in charge of NCSX at PPPL, later admitted that they had underestimated the challenges related to both time and money. But this wasn't the worst part. Despite these setbacks, progress toward the perfect magnetic field shape for plasma confinement continued. Unlike traditional fusion reactors, Stellarators have a built-in safety feature. Their magnetic fields are generated externally. This removes the need for internal pulsing and reduces risks associated with plasma currents. Some teams continue developing this technology, drawn to its inherent safety. Notably, the Large Helical Device, LHD, in Toki, Japan, has been operating since 1998 and remains the largest operational stellarator. This design uses 2 helical coils to manage plasma, with additional coils for better control, setting several records in the stellarator field, especially in continuous operation. Pioneering scientists like Jürgen Nuremberg from IPP and Alan Boozer, formerly of PPPL and now with Columbia University, proposed a new stellarator design that uses a magnetic field with consistent strength but changing directions. This design aims to minimize plasma losses and could potentially match the efficiency of tokamak reactors. The idea of optimization focuses on creating the perfect magnetic field shape for effective plasma confinement, a task that only became possible with the development of supercomputers in the 1980s. However, this wasn't the end of the story. The journey toward fusion energy is a blend of scientific innovation and technological progress. These reactors, which use magnetic fields to contain superheated plasma, offer the promise of unlimited clean energy. Every breakthrough in engineering and design brings us closer to making fusion energy a reality, driven by the dedication and expertise of the global scientific community. Recently, advancements in nuclear fusion technology have drawn widespread interest across the industry. Looking ahead, it's clear that steering the world toward lower emissions is more crucial than ever. As the global population grows, cities expand, and more people in developing regions gain access to electricity, the demand for energy is expected to triple by the end of the century. Recent global events have shown us how important it is to have a mix of energy sources beyond the ones we've relied on in the past. While fossil fuels have been the backbone of our energy supply, they also contribute to greenhouse gas emissions and pollution. Nuclear fusion presents a hopeful alternative for providing sustainable and clean energy, though making it work on a global scale is still a significant challenge. Germany has made notable progress in nuclear fusion technology, with the Wendelstein 7X Stellarator at the forefront. This advanced reactor aims to replicate how the sun produces energy, offering the potential for an endless supply of clean power. The Wendelstein 7X, a feat of engineering designed with the help of supercomputers and advanced magnetic coils, has shown encouraging results in recent tests. It has reached temperatures much higher than the sun's core, with very little heat loss. While there are still hurdles to overcome, these developments point to a future where safe, clean energy could become widely available. But this isn't the toughest part. The road to practical fusion energy is filled with challenges. Global efforts to develop this technology represent small but steady steps toward a future where energy is both sustainable and free of carbon emissions. Could Germany's new nuclear reactor truly revolutionize our approach to clean energy? Or might it raise new ethical and environmental concerns? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.